Hello, my dear students, and welcome to the third session of the chapter A Question of Trust. So, आज के सेशन में हमने क्या करना है? We are going to be solving the NCERT questions जो हैं हमारे, हम उनको solve करेंगे. And of course, I'm going to give you some extra questions, and along with that, we are going to underline the important extracts from the story. Okay. So, we all are on page number 20. Okay, so let us start solving the questions first. First is, what does Horace Danby like to collect? So he likes to collect rare and expensive books. Why does he steal every year? So that he could gather money, or he could collect sufficient money to buy those rare and expensive books. Then on page number 22, who was speaking to Horace Danby? The lady dressed in red who's standing in the hallway is speaking to Horace Danby. Who is the real culprit in the story? Of course, we all know that the lady who was dressed in red is the real culprit in the story. Now we come to the end text questions. Questions which are given at the end of the chapter. First, did you begin to suspect before the end of the story that the lady was not the person Horace Danby took her to be? If so, at what point did you realize this and how? So it's, again, you can give your own opinions. You can either say that yes, we did realize, or maybe you can say that I did not realize. But whatever answer you give, yes or no, you have to, of course, justify it with a logical रीजनिंग. इस तरह के जो भी क्वेश्चंस होते हैं बेटा, आई हैव बीन टेलिंग यू दैट यू नीड टू गिव अ लॉजिकल रीजनिंग दैट I'm sorry, why do you agree with something, or why don't you agree with a particular situation? Second question, what are the subtle ways in which the lady manages to deceive Horace Danby into thinking that she is the lady of the house? Why doesn't Horace suspect that something is wrong? So subtle manner, the way she advises him that this is what you can do for hay fever, and then how she describes the entire house, and why Horace Danby he never suspects that this lady could actually be a thief, considering the details that she gives about the house with regard to that the husband is out, and I have to wear these jewels. So how confidently she's holding that box of jewels, and she's narrating the story of husband not being in the town. All right, then Horace Danby was good and respectable, but not completely honest. Why do you think this description is apt for Horace? Of course, जब हमने character sketch किया था कल के session में, we understood that yes, he's good, he's honorable, but how do we know that he's not completely honest? Because he would steal every year. Why can't he be categorized as a typical thief? Reason being that he did not steal anything and everything. He only made a robbery once a year, and that too only for his love for rare and expensive books. Horace Danby was a meticulous planner, but still he faltered. Where does he go wrong and why? Meticulous planning होती है, बड़ी careful, बड़ी सोची समझी जो planning होती है, that's called as meticulous. Faltered, गलती करना. Alright, so he faltered because he of course believed in the lady, and though he was a meticulous planner, but maybe not a skilled planner in some way. Why? Because yes, उसने पूरा अच्छे से घर का मैप स्टडी करा, उसने डॉग का नाम भी पता कर लिया, उसने ये भी पता कर लिया फैमिली कहाँ है, कब सर्वेंट्स कब तक आएंगे, सर्वेंट्स अभी कहाँ गए हैं, but he did not make a proper study about the ऑक्यूपेंट्स ऑफ द हाउस, कि घर में कौन कौन रहता है, पता है, बट क्या उनके नाम है, हाउ डू दे लुक लाइक. सो दैट इज वेयर ही faltered. And of course, the major thing was that he started believing an unknown person. And why did he do that? Because he was scared that of being arrested. Okay, तो उसके डर का फायदा उठाया गया है ना. Alright, so these are the questions that are given in your textbook. Let's have a look at some extra questions. I am sure all of you can see the screen. Okay, so short questions. why Horace refuted the idea of honor among thieves. So after being arrested, why did Horace Danby refute the idea? He rejected the idea of honor among thieves because he was fooled by another thief. Second, how did Horace enter the Shotover Grange? So इसके लिए we come to page number 21 जहाँ पर ये पूरा description दिया गया है. So the second paragraph, he had seen the housekeeper hang the key to the kitchen door on a hook outside. He put on a pair of gloves, took the key and opened the door. He was always careful of not leaving any fingerprints. तो पूरी उसकी जो planning थी, and of course he had made a thorough study of the map of the house. Then, what was Horace Danby suffering from? So, he suffered from hay fever in summers. And how did it affect him? So, due to hay fever, he used to feel a tickle in his nose, because of which he would often start sneezing uncontrollably. अब आते हैं लॉन्ग आंसर टाइप पे. क्या क्या टॉपिक्स हो सकते हैं? पहला है एडिक्शन अ बैड हैबिट. इसके बारे में मैम ने आपको अच्छे से बताया जब हमने इस चैप्टर को स्टडी करा है, कैरेक्टर स्केच भी समझा है, तब भी मैम ने आपको बताया किसी भी चीज़ की एडिक्शन जो है इट कैन टर्न इनटू अ बैड हैबिट. एक्सेस ऑफ एवरीथिंग इज बैड. देन फेल टू प्लान टू फेल. ये जो आपकी बुक में क्वेश्चन है दैट ही वाज अ मेटिकुलस प्लानर स्टिल ही फॉल्टर्ड. सो ये क्वेश्चन जो है ये more or less talks about the same situation. Then a typical text question, how did the lady in the red convince Horace that she was the owner's wife? So she gave the entire description and the confidence with which she was holding the jewel box, and the story of course around that she built, that made Horace realize or believe rather that she was the owner's wife. Okay, so अब ये तो हुए क्वेश्चन आंसर्स. नाउ लेट अस कम टू दी the important extracts from the chapter. So we are on page number 20. Of course, we underline the very first passage of the story. Everyone thought that Horace Danby was a good, honest citizen. He was about 50-year-old, unmarried, but not completely honest. क्योंकि यहाँ से हमें हॉरेस के बारे में बहुत कुछ पता चलता है. याद है ना जब हमने कैरेक्टर स्केच किया था. ऑलराइट, देन इन द नेक्स्ट पैराग्राफ, he loved rare and expensive books, so he robbed a safe every year till he loved through an agent. He secretly brought the books he loved through an agent. Okay, then come to the next page. 1, 2, 3. The fifth paragraph, the safe was in the drawing room. All of you got it? Page number 21 पे. The safe was in the drawing room behind a rather poor painting से लेकर books were better. This talking about that though paintings were quite expensive, could have earned him a lot of money, but then he really never wanted money. He wanted books. All right. Then you come to the leave to paragraph and underline, how foolish are people when they own valuable things. Horace thought. A magazine article had described this house, giving a plan of all the rooms, okay, and a picture of the room, till hid a safe. Okay, then the last paragraph, the voice went on, you can cure it with a special treatment. Then top of the house just now. Then keep on underlining on page number 22. It was quite kindly voice, but one with firmness in it, till straightened the ornaments there. Okay, this is the encounter of Horace with the lady dressed in red dress. Come to page number 23. Can you see the paragraph? Horace smiled. I'm not a man who threatens society. Okay, so he says, I'm not a man who threatens society. I steal only from those who have a lot of money. I steal for a very good reason, and I hate the thought of prison. Okay. Then leave 2-3 paragraphs. So she picked up a silver box from the table and underlined this. Yes, but only if you will do something for me. All right, leave 1 or 2 lines, then just leave it to me. You will have them within an hour, but I will have to break your safe. Keep underlining, don't worry about that. My husband won't be here for a month, and I'll have the safe mended by that time. Then on page number 24, starting from for 2 days he kept his promise till the last words of the chapter, honor among thieves. This describes Horace being arrested and how he was sent to prison, and how does he feel when people talk about honor among thieves. क्लियर? ओके, सो क्वाइट एन इंटरेस्टिंग स्टोरी. अब हम मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट सेशन में, जहां पर हम एक चैप्टर पढ़ेंगे फ्रॉम आवर मेन रीडर. Till then, stay blessed and do like, share and subscribe to Educator Prerna. Thank you.